Hello everyone, welcome to the another session of digital signal processing. Today we are going to discuss an important topic while we are designing an FIR filter. What are the limitations and what kind of distortion we may suffer when we are performing these kind of designing. So that phenomenon is called as finite word length effect in the digital filters. In this topic we are going to talk about coefficient quantization error, quantization noise, which is truncation and rounding, and one important phenomenon, that is limit cycle oscillations, and we'll see how deadband effect is generated whenever we are truncating a series or some kind of oscillations which are being produced. So this topic is utmost important because in DSP, because whatever processing we are doing with the help of a computer, which is nothing but a microprocessor of some special kind. And whenever we talk about a microprocessor, one important thing I need to talk about is how many number of bits a microprocessor can process at a given instant of time. So that particular processing power of a microprocessor is something we are fascinated with. So if I talk about a 32-bit processor, if I talk about a 64-bit processor, that means the maximum number of bits a processor can process would be 64. From here, directly attached is another vocabulary of microprocessor, which is called as word length. How many number of bits I can store into the memory location. Generally, we talk about microprocessor, we talk about the memory, and memory is generally talked about in the form of the register. So whenever we talk about the register are basically categorized at 8-bit register, 16-bit register, 32 or 64-bit register. So these two things are connected with each other. So here I would say that whenever I am implementing a digital system that is implemented either in hardware or I am implementing in software form, the filter coefficients, they are stored in the binary register, and because the registers of these microprocessor or a computer, they have a fixed length, that's why we have to truncate the series. And because of this truncation of the series, certain kind of errors occur, and to those errors I need to make a balance that I am not losing much of the information. So this register can accommodate only finite numbers of bits. So the filter coefficients have to be truncated or they have to be rounded off in order to fit into these registers. So if I say if I'm talking about the latest processors, say the series I-Core, I know they are 64-bit processors. So the register length would be 64-bit. And when I talk about the filter coefficients are simple the multiplier of the equation that we have studied. Like if I denote some equation, yn is equal to 4 of xn, then this is my coefficient multiplier, that is 4. So I need to store these coefficient into the memory, which is a register. Then how many precision, what is the precision level to which I represent this 4? Of course, I'm not going to store the number 4. I'm going to convert this into certain kind of binary representation. I use different binary representation for storing this number depending upon may I using your codes like ASCII codes can be used, that is a 7-bit representation. Even the larger extended BCD codes can also be used. So what is the precision level at which I want to store this coefficient would be limited by the size of the register a microprocessor or a special processor we have dedicated for digital signal processing is offering me. For example, if I'm talking about a 64-bit processor and the precision level with which I need to work with, say that is having 94 bits of complete information. So the difference between these two, that is 30 bits, that is lost. So because I'm processing my signal with some registers which have a finite length, I'm losing certain kind of information, certain amount of information. That is a must. That is going to happen certainly. But the information that I'm losing in this process, how significant is it? Can I lose it, or losing it would change the application part of that particular signal? That would be one particular thing I need to focus on. So how should I truncate a series? That I should lose minimum number of bits rather than 30 bits, I may be losing only 10 bits. So I have to take into the account that I do not lose much of the information, but yes, I'm going to lose certain amount of information certainly whenever I'm processing a real-time signal with the digital signal processor. So the simplest technique is the truncation, which is this, just lose away the number of the extra bits that I have. Another simple technique is the rounding of the data, that whenever I have a data threshold value, whenever my data is above the threshold value, I would take the next higher integer and so on. Also, in the digital processing system, a continuous time input signal is sampled, one of the most important process, that is A to D conversion, which is must whenever I'm computing, whenever I'm performing a digital signal processing of a real-time signal, which is certainly analog in nature. So I need to perform this sampling, and with sampling comes the another aspect which is called as quantization. So in order to get the digital signal, I need to process, I have to perform the sampling, I have to perform the quantization. So in this process, I'm losing the information, which is called as quantization error. So there can be various sources by which I may lose information when I'm processing my signal with the digital systems. So broadly, those processes have been categorized as first error that is being introduced, or different issues that we are concerned about. It is quantization effect in the analog to digital conversion, product quantization and coefficient quantization errors in the digital filter, and third kind of phenomenon which appears basically in the infinite impulse response filter, that is my limit cycles. So let us discuss these three issues one by one. Very first thing is error which is arising because of the quantization. So whenever we talk about sampling, I'm sampling the time axis, and whenever I'm talking about quantization, I'm talking about amplitude of that sampled signal. So my information is going to be truncated in the form of the parameter which is the amplitude. So here, if this is a time varying analog signal, I have in the x-axis, I have taken certain samples by performing time sampling. And when all these samples which I have taken, for example, this is one particular sample, here also I have at different time, this is the sample, at some another period, these are the samples. Now these samples, for example, I'm talking about this particular value, this can be 2.579, this can be certain amplitude. If I talk about this can be 4.71. If I talk about this can be 3.12. So these values are continuous in nature because I'm getting certain value after this decimal point. So what I have to do, and the process of this quantization, I create this staircase kind of a structure to quantize these value, for example, this particular value to some integer number, maybe 2 or maybe 3. Depending upon what I'm choosing truncation technique or I'm choosing quantization technique. So these staircase like structure, we say the length of this particular or width of this staircase is being denoted by A. And this particular staircase has a middle point above which I'm taking this staircase as A by 2, and below this also this step size is A by 2. For example, here, if it is complete width is my A. So what I'm talking about, if I'm taken this center point, say this is complete staircase, this is denoting 2 volts of level, this lower part denoting 1 volt of level, and this intermediate value is 1.5 volts. This is complete size A, that is step size is 1. The difference between these two values is only 1. So below this it is minus A by 2, above this is it A by 2. So where I am ranging? I am ranging from minus A by 2 to A by 2. Now what I am choosing? Say I am choosing truncation. If I am choosing truncation, 2.5 would be taken as 2 If I choose round off, it would be taken as 3. Similarly for the other samples as well. So this generating these kind of integer value from this continuous value is what I call as quantization of this particular signal. So of course I'm losing information. If 2.5 is approximated as 2, I'm losing 0.579 amount of information. If I take it as 3, I'm adding certain amount of information which was not present into this signal. That means in both the cases, what I'm doing, I'm introducing error into my signals. At one place, when I'm truncating, I'm losing the information which may be important for me. And in the rounding off, I'm adding certain extra amount of information which may lead to the wrong interpretation of that particular signal. But because quantization is a necessary step whenever I'm performing A to D conversion, so these errors have to be tolerated. But we should make an attempt that these kind of errors should be minimized. So mathematically, if we try to generalize that how much amount of error a quantization process can introduce, so we'll see the mean square error by applying the basic theory of probability, that this mean square error introduced during the process of quantization can be represented by this standard formula where zeta is the error in the quantization and p zeta is the probability that error is going to occur, that may occur, may not occur, and em square denoting the mean square error. Like if I have talked about a sample, say 2.57, there would be certain sample which have value 2 also. So here there would be no error. Here I have some error. So that's why when we are talking about certain error, there is no certainty that error would happen or would not happen. So we talk about the probability theory here, that if error occurs, what is the probability and what should be the average error with that particular process. If we take the step size like we previously discussed in the quantization process as A, then this probability of error in the quantization process is denoted by 1 by A. So simply substituting this value here in this equation and integrated in which range? If the step size is A, the range varies from minus A by 2 to A by 2. Here we have talked about the step size and the variation was minus A by 2 to A by 2. So I'll simply integrate the standard formula by substituting this value and I calculate that this error, mean square error, is depending upon square of this step size A divided by 12. So if I have decided a step size, I can calculate directly using this formula what can be the minimum square error with this particular process called quantization. Now in this step size A, whatever I am converting, say 2.5 is being converted to 2, now this has to be denoted into binary using any technique. For example, I'm using BCD code, I may use gray code, I may use ASCII. So whatever coding technique I'm using, that would have certain binary number representation. For example, this A is having number of bit representation as A is equal to 2 raised to the power minus m. So by substituting it here, we can calculate the new formula which depends upon number of bits. M is my number of bits used for quantization. So this formula is also dependent upon the number of bits used for quantization. So this is another way of representing the error introduced by the quantization process. Now as we are continuously talking about two processes, truncation and quantization, so we'll see that how does this truncation is going to affect my error and how does quantization process with rounding off is going to affect my signal. So if I'm using the truncation process, simply cutting away the numbers after the decimal point. So I say with this inequality, 2 raised to the power minus n, what is this n? Number of bits in the untruncated number, and m is number of bits after I have performed truncation. So in this particular binary representation, the range of error would be 2 raised to the power minus m minus 2 raised to the power minus m for the positive number. For the negative number, the range would be defined as this. So in totality, if I talk about for signed magnitude representation, this is the range of error associated with the process truncation. So this is completely my choice, or the algorithm I am designing, that I have to choose truncation or round off. In the case of round off, this error that we have just seen for the truncation reduces to half for the positive number, similarly for the negative number. So the range is simply half of the difference between 2 raised to the power minus n minus 2 raised to the power minus m and 1 by 2 raised to the power minus m minus 2 raised to the power minus n. So we see that amount of error, the range of error that I am introducing, reduces with the round off process. Next important topic is the limit cycle oscillation. One thing I have to take into the care with this limit cycle oscillations, that these are produced only in the IIR system. They are not present in FIR system. So what I have to see? What is the speciality of IIR that makes it different from the FIR system? Feedback. So that means wherever I have a feedback, a certain kind of new phenomenon is going to arise. So these oscillations are going to arise in a system with the feedback, and out of IIR and FIR, the system which has a recursive nature, which has a feedback, is IIR. So I have to remember that limit cycle oscillations are a phenomenon when I am generating or I am processing with the system that is having a feedback. They are not generated from the noise. They are not noise. They are not the external source of noise. They are produced due to truncation and rounding off of the filter coefficient, which is necessary because of the finite register length. And they're also called zero input limit cycle because I'm not giving any input. They are produced themselves. They are self-produced like any other oscillations that we talk about. A general analog system, which is an oscillator. Oscillators are some system in which, because of the feedback, certain kind of output is obtained even if I'm not giving any kind of output. So these limit cycle oscillations also have the same kind of property, that they are self-produced. So let us see how, because of finite length of register, these oscillations arise. So let me take a very standard equation, a simple standard equation, where yn is equal to 0.5 y of n minus 1 plus xn. So I have taken one current sample, I have taken the previous sample, which is the output sample. Let me analyze this signal for the delta function, where this input xn is taken as delta n. So at instant n is equal to 0, this delta would be 1. At all other values, this delta does not exist. So this equation simply becomes yn is depending upon 0.5 times y of n minus 1, if I choose this particular condition. So let me take different values of n, calculate 4 to 5 samples of these equations. All these values which I am obtaining from solving this equation, let me represent them in the form of a binary representation. So what I have got? I got first sample as 1, second sample as 0.5, another sample as 0.25, 0.125, 0.0625 and 0.03125. Their binary have been represented here. Look at the pattern. It is 1.000. Second sample is represented as 0.1000. In this way, I am seeing that 1 is shifting away and I am increasing the number of zeros here. This is necessary to see the effect of finite length of register. So let me see that I have a register of say length 5 bit. How this pattern is going to see for 5 bit, if I see this is, I'm going to store 1, I'm going to store this dot, 2 bits would be occupied, other bits are free. Here I'm going to store 0.0, 0.1, 3 spaces would be occupied. Here I see 0.01, here I see 0.001, then 0.001. So if I start storing these numbers into a 5-bit register, the issue does not exist till I get a 4-bit number. But as soon as the number exceed the 0.00001, one space is taken by this, other spaces are taken by 0000, this one is left. So till this stage, all the numbers are stored into the register, but as soon as I come to this number, what do I see? All the numbers would become constant. If I use a truncation, this number 00001 would simply become 0.000. This is a case of truncation. And if I am using rounding off, which actually I'll be using here, what this would become? This would become 0.001. I'll round it off this 0 to 1. So all the numbers after this, if I even get 5 zeros and 1, and if I get 6 zeros and 1, I would round off this, I would round off this, the next bit. So all the bits would become 0.0001, 0.0001. irrespective of what my real number was. So I can see this pattern that it has stagnated to one particular digit. If I try to represent this particular pattern of values on a graph, what do I see? First value has certain amplitude, 0.1. Second was having 0.01, then 0.001, here 0.001. And after these particular values, what I see? This area becomes constant. Only values I can see into my register is this. Even when my actual value was this, even when my actual value was this. So after that particular stage, say after this particular stage, I'm losing the real information. So this is one particular thing which would result into this limit cycle oscillations, or I say this particular area where all the values have become constant. I call this particular area as deadband. So this deadband is the result of this finite word length of the register, that irrespective of what actual value was, I'm getting a constant value throughout. So see, if I wanted to have a pattern, the real pattern would have been like this, and after certain stages it would have become 0. This signal would have become 0 after certain interval of time. But because of this effect, which is limit cycle oscillations, it would never become 0. It would become a constant value. So this constant amplitude which I am getting because of the truncation of particular values of a certain input signal, I would get in the physical system, which is called as the bias. Basically, bias would be produced in that particular system, or in a simple way, I am going to listen, if it is a sound system, I am going to listen certain kind of a noisy signal. So whenever I have a feedback system, I am going to have certain kind of oscillations, but when I have finiteness of register, I'll get a special kind of oscillations which are going to produce this dead band, and this is called as limit cycle oscillation. So all these three phenomena would be contributing to the errors of my signal in the processing whenever I'm processing using my digital signal processor. The step whenever I'm converting my signal from analog to digital, whenever I'm storing the coefficients, the example we have just seen, I have to truncate or I have to quantize. And the last phenomenon, which was the limit cycle oscillation, which is present because a system we have which is called as IR system, which is a feedback system. So we have to take the measures that we are able to reduce all of these errors, and certainly we cannot completely remove these errors. So this is how we complete the designing of FIR filters, with seeing that various distortion would be introduced and certain techniques would be applied to reduce those distortion. So in the next session, we'll be starting another kind of important transform, that is fast Fourier transform. So that's all for this session. Thank you.